Do you ever have that feeling when you look in the mirror and you're just like, ugh, like not too excited about what you see, but then there are other times of the month where you're like, oh my gosh, like girl, you're looking so good. So I've always been thinking of that, of like, why is it during some parts of the month I feel really good about myself, but other parts of the month I don't? And they typically correlate to when I'm having my period or like right about to have it. And I was like, there must be a reason why. So today I wanted to chat with you about body dysmorphia and what that is, and why that's important to women's health and our bodies and our self-esteem. So my name is Laura Sherrill, and I'm a women's health and wellness strategist, and I help women with their hormones and be able to really be able to understand their female body and just kind of what's happening and why. So body dysmorphia is actually a PMS symptom that is so not talked about. It is just skipped over, and like doctors don't ever think to ask about it, because women not being satisfied with their bodies, being happy from within, essentially about ourselves and our bodies, is something that is passed over, right? Because so many of us struggle with it. So many of us feel that way, that it must just be common. It just must be, the way in which our society is set up, that women need to feel this way. And I don't think that's the case. I actually truly believe that women feel so empowered when they have that self-confidence, right? When you feel sexy and alluring and charming, and just why would we then purposely choose to not feel that way? Why would we look in the mirror and beat ourselves up? I don't think any woman chooses to do that, but it happens on such a regular basis. And so what's been really confusing, I think, within our society about women and self-esteem is that understanding this PMS symptom called body dysmorphia is something that I think can explain why women get so dissatisfied with ourselves, with our bodies, and essentially leave us susceptible to eating disorders, to low self-esteem, to negative thinking, to all these low-level thoughts that get in the way. Because our thinking drives our actions. So if you're feeling really good about yourself, I mean, think of the choices that you make in your life, right? Like, you're going to be choosing healthy foods, you're going to be exercising, you're going to be out and being social and just, talking with others around you, because we're not meant to be isolated. We need that emotional connection. We need that support from other people. Versus when you're not feeling so good, you're going to be more turned off from the world, you're going to be a little bit more reserved, you're going to be a little bit more less likely to eat healthy or have the energy to go and exercise, or start thinking low-level thoughts that something is wrong with you. And so what happens with body dysmorphia is it typically comes up for women right before we're having our period, because our serotonin, which is one of our feel-good hormones, dips right before we get our period. So if our brains are not getting the feel-good hormones that we typically have higher levels of at other points of the month, so think of your ovulation phase when you're, that's when your energy is at the highest. Estrogen and progesterone are at its peak, and you're just feeling so good. You're feeling alluring, you're feeling confident, you're feeling sexy, because that's how your body was designed. Your body was designed to go out and find a potential mate at that time to be able to reproduce, right? Like, our bodies as women, ladies, we're meant to reproduce. And so something that we then don't talk about is what happens to our brains when we don't get that hit of serotonin that we were used to being so high at other parts of the month. And then that's what is causing women to feel more dissatisfied with their bodies, low-level thinking. And I certainly have struggled with it. If you know any of my backstory at all, I struggled for 12 years with an eating disorder called compulsive over-exercising, which I wasn't anorexic, I wasn't bulimic, I ate food, I didn't throw out my food, but exercise was another way of purging calories. And so all along the way, as I've been kind of psychoanalyzing myself about this and why I struggled so much, it was coming up at a time of the month for me, every single month, that I was seeking out ways in my life to naturally boost serotonin and my feel-good hormones without even realizing it. And I got that through running, and I got that through exercising. But without understanding this natural shift within my body and how my body kind of dipped throughout the month right before my period, I then carried that with me all throughout the month. And I took it way to the extreme, because I am a high achieving lady, right? I had all these really high expectations for myself. I've held myself to such a high standard that I thought, okay, if this is what makes me feel good at this time, that's what's going to make me feel good for the rest of the month, without understanding that I just need to kind of ebb and flow a little bit and understand my energy levels, understand my natural hormone fluctuations and what's going on, how my body's connecting to my brain, and just how the thoughts and how I feel about myself are directing my actions. So if I then was thinking low level thoughts about myself, and I then was turning to exercise and taking it to the extreme as a way of feeling better about myself and, finding a way to feel good throughout the day, then that was actually, without me even realizing it, was throwing off my hormones because my stress hormones were so high. So it's then getting in the way of how my cycle was working anyway, because when our stress hormones are super high, it gets in the way of our reproductive system working the way that we want, our digestion, so we're not like processing food as well as we would hope. And it just causes all of these feelings of overwhelm, anxiety, hopelessness, despair, and just where does that then lead us? So if you ever find yourself looking in the mirror right before you're having a period or during, certainly we could feel bloated, but there's certainly ways in your life that you can get rid of that, because that's a sign that your hormones are off. But if you look in the mirror and you're just all of a sudden one day like nitpicking on yourself, and you literally see yourself as being bigger than you did this day before. So that's body dysmorphia, when you are seeing and perceiving something as bigger when it actually isn't that case. Because I would find myself doing this where I would look in the mirror and I was like, well, why do I look different? But I had to like really be objective and separate myself from that, because was my body actually different? And so, yeah, I might be maybe a little bloated and carrying a little bit more water retention than I would have at other parts of the month. But had my body truly changed? Had I all of a sudden gained 10, 20 pounds? No, I hadn't. And so then I was like, oh, I definitely have struggled with this. Not only did it cause me to have an eating disorder for 12 years, that is like a mental mind game that you need to play with. And it's, trying to maintain some sort of control. And then, women, we go down that route when we are trying to just feel safe and secure. And that was my way of trying to feel safe and secure within my body without realizing that I was causing more overwhelm than needed. And so if you find yourself looking in the mirror at certain parts and you just see yourself differently than you might have like a week or two ago, stop and just ask yourself where those thoughts are coming from. Are you just lacking a little bit of serotonin getting to your brain because it's a natural dip at that time? What can you do to be able to naturally increase it? So going outside for a walk and being out in nature is going to help boost your serotonin. Going out for a run or going to the gym or finding any sort of movement that feels good within your body is going to boost that serotonin. Connecting with people in your life, especially women, like reach out to your best friend and just be like, hey, I'm feeling this way. Like, do you feel this way? And just getting that additional support. Writing in a journal, yoga, meditation. I personally love to sit in an Epsom salt bath, and like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I prop up my favorite TV show on the toilet seat on my iPad and just sit and indulge and have some tea. And I was like, you know what, this feels really good, and I'm not gonna be ashamed or embarrassed about it, and it's totally fine. And so just recognizing that this actually is such a huge problem within our society and with women as a whole. And the more we can understand that, like, hey, I just need to recognize that I'm having this natural dip. I'm not getting the feel-good hormones that my brain needs. Nothing is wrong with me. My body has not changed. All the healthy eating, the exercise, the daily habits, everything that I'm doing within my life is working, because on the other parts of the month, I'm feeling so good. And I just need to take this time to tune in, check in, find out what works for me, and recognize and know that when I look in the mirror, I have not changed. I am still me, and I love myself for this. And I just know that I need to get outside and just have some more time in the sun and just be able to connect with other people and exercise and just find other ways to feel good about myself and not take it to the extreme, not think that something's wrong with you, not beat yourself up, and just continue to live that happy, joyful life that you are living, and just being that best person that you can be each and every day, and striving for that woman that you are, because you are her every single day. So if you at all have struggled with this, feel free to comment. Let me know if you have noticed this within your life. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Would absolutely love to connect with you more and be able to talk about these issues and just how we can alleviate that and take the pressure off of ourselves, because we don't need to be carrying that pressure around on our shoulders. Let's be real, if we have like too much stress, it always finds its way in our midsection, which we don't need either. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and just think next time about body dysmorphia before you are having your period, and just know that your body is totally perfect and wonderful the way that it is, and it just could be sending a message to your brain to think otherwise, and it's just not the case whatsoever. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.